Good morning, Patricia. How are you? Thank you for being here. When you hop on, please say good morning. Hi, Teresa. How are you? Hi, Doris. Good morning. Hi, Pat. Okay, so I got comments coming up on both devices. However, it looks like the video is lagging on my computer. Is that what's happening for everybody else? Hi, Vesta. Hey, Robin. Good morning. Just let me know if it's lagging. I have noticed a lot of other demonstrators, people who are doing lives, that reception seems to freeze, and I don't know why that is. I'm just going to keep going because it seems like when I'm watching other people, it does come back. But right now, when I look over at my laptop, I'm frozen. So if you could let me know. Okay, Doris, it's not lagging for you. Maybe it's my internet. We're supposed to have really good internet, but maybe it's something to do with that. Okay, Vesta says it's doing fine. So I'm just going to keep going then. So good morning, everyone. If you're new, my name is Julie, and I am the Trippy Card Maker of Quilts and More. And I live in Toledo, Ohio. Hi, Paula. I saw somebody else's name go by. Oh, I'm sorry I missed it, but I'm so excited because when the live is done today, I'm getting in my car and I'm driving to Columbus, Ohio to stay with another demonstrator, and then we are driving out tomorrow morning to Indianapolis for my first on stage. Hi, Eileen. Hi, Pat. So I'm very excited. I'm very nervous. I've been around the Columbus area before. However, it'll be my first time driving by myself. Hi, Andrea. Where are you watching from? Hi, Sharon. So I am nervously excited about this weekend. I can't even begin to explain it. My stomach has butterflies in it. Just, going to be able to meet so many people in person that I chat with through Facebook a lot. So, oh, thank you, Doris. So yeah, and I have more birthday cards I want to share with you, but because I'm going to be trying to not drag this live out too much so I can get on the road at a good time. Hi, Jane. I'm going to save the rest of my birthday cards for next week. Okay, so that this project here, we're going to be doing quite a lot. So I don't want it to go super long. So the birthday cards, we can just wait. Andrea is watching from the UK. The big Stampin' Up! Convention is going on in Vienna right now. Hi, Tammy. So that's exciting. I know a few demonstrators in the UK who are attending that Stampin' Up! Event. Hi, Martha. So good to see you here. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to get started. We're bringing back an oldie but goodie and kind of giving this Cardinal some kind of a little facelift, so with a more current product. So hold on while I find my little icons here. And just talk amongst yourselves, say hello to one another while I rearrange my space here. I can just move things to this other side so that I have more room. Okay, and now, I don't want to make anybody seasick. That's going the wrong way. There we go. I think I can push this back just a little. And then slide it to the side. Okay. And because I'm going to refresh my computer here, maybe I can catch up. Let's see what happens if I refresh it. Okay, hopefully, oh, okay, there. It just took a refresh. That looks good. Okay, so this cardinal we did back in May of 2021, and this was the original easel card. So there has, oh, and I don't know what I did moving this around. I caused my one leaf to get really wonky. So that wasn't part of the original design. But this was the original cardinal that we did. And back when I did this, let's see if you can see, there was a lot of piecing. And the one thing that I like to get around is having too many small pieces to cut and handle and glue together. So when I find that there is a shortcut so that we don't have all of these seams that we're trying to get together as close as we can so that it looks very smooth and like one bigger piece, I like to do that. Okay, because these tiny little pieces with fingers can get hard, you know, it can be hard to hang on to them. You have a better chance with little pieces of transferring glue from your fingers or whatever. So if there's any shortcuts that can be taken, then I like to do that, and I want to show you those. Okay, so we're going to do this cardinal a little differently, and I'm going to be using the Fitting Florets dies. There's this Candy Cane Designer Series paper that's current, and I'm going to do a Christmas cardinal. You can use this cardinal in any way that you want. You don't have to make a Christmas card. But once you learn and get the pattern, then you can go on to put your cardinals in your projects, and they can be for any occasion. Okay? So, again, this was the original pieced cardinal. This is the project that we are going to do today. So this is more current, more streamlined as far as piecing the cardinal together. And this is one of the dies that's in the Fitting Florets bundle. And this oval is going to come from the inside of one of those dies. I'll show you the dies when we get started. But those are the two features that come from the dies. And then I stamped and colored the flowers. Now, the original picture that I posted on Facebook, these flowers were all Blushing Bride. The reason why I chose that color was I didn't want red next to red, but then they were just too, it needed something. So I went in with my blends and I added real red to the underside of the leaves, in the centers, to tie in the red, but the reds not be right next to each other to where the flower would blend in with the cardinal. And then I added some Wink of Stella to the inside. And I went ahead and I colored the flower down here. I just changed it from Blushing Bride and made it real red. So this card looks a little different than the photo that I shared because I went back in after thinking about it and looking at it and knowing it needed a change, just added some more color. Okay, so that is the current, that's the project we're going to do today. I want to share with you a card that Doris had made me, and this was back in 2021 when we made the Cardinal, but she made the cutest little white-breasted nuthatch. And Doris had also shared, I don't know if there's a PDF for the other birds that she had done, but Doris has done American robins. She's done other birds. They're fascinating. Go to Doris's, is it Doris Designs? She has a Facebook page, and you can see all the beautiful birds that Doris has done. So Doris, if you could let them know your Facebook page so that they can go and see your other birds. I'm sure that's where I saw them at. Really super cute. So you're going to be able to take this one design and, you know, just change the colors, and you can make it several different bird species, okay? So this little white-breasted nuthatch is so cute. The white-breasted nuthatch is a bird that, it's funny because it's a bird that my dad would call me at least twice a year and say, I've got this bird in the tree. It's like a bluish gray and white, and it goes upside down. And I would tell him, Dad, that's a white-breasted nuthatch. And it wouldn't register until, you know, stick in his brain. So in the spring and the fall, he would call me and tell me about the same bird. So I have a deep connection with the white-breasted nuthatch because it's something my dad and I laughed about all the time when I would say, Dad, don't you remember you saw that in the spring? So a favorite bird of mine, and Doris did such a great job of putting that white-breasted nuthatch together. So let's work on our Cardinal first. Okay, so let me bring in my pieces for the Cardinal. Now I've got a nice size scrap of grid paper here because we're going to we're going to create our Cardinal on this grid paper, and then we're going to cut it off, okay? Now I'm going to use this grid paper here, my Stampin' Up! Grid paper, to show you how we're going to mark our cardstock so we can get one nice body for the Cardinal that isn't a lot of tiny pieces. Okay, I don't know how to zoom. I wonder if I can bring this down a little closer. Hold on, I don't know if that's... It got me a little closer. Okay, what I did on my grid paper was I drew a 1.5 by 2 inch rectangle, which is the piece that I had you cut for the Cardinal's body. Okay, so I'm just going to set that right there, and we're going to make some tick marks because we're going to cut some angles off, and that will give us his body without having to cut numerous pieces to form it. Okay, so grid paper, if you buy it, and even the Stampin' Up!, there's two sides. One side will have squares that are 1/4 inch each, and that's the side that we're working on. Okay, so each one of these squares is 1/4 inch. So at the top, I'm going to count 2 squares because I want to come in 1/2 inch. So at 1/2 inch, I'm going to make a little tick mark on the edge of my cardstock. I want to put a little tick mark down here in the corner. This would be the lower right hand corner, because this line to this line is going to be his back. Okay, that's going to be his back. Now to form his chest, what we're going to do is come down on this 1.5 inch side and come down to count down 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, And at the bottom of that fourth square, make a little tick mark. Okay, then come down to the bottom and come in a 1/2 inch. So count 2 squares and make a tick mark. And that is going to form his chest and his belly. Okay, so what you can do is you can take a ruler and draw your lines. You can put them right into your trimmer if you want. But I have found that just taking a ruler and lining up those tick marks, I'm just going to draw a faint line. And then draw a line from these 2 tick marks here at the bottom. Okay, I don't know if this is going to pick up my drawn lines, but those are going to be your cutting lines, okay? You can put this in the trimmer. You can use your snips. This does not have to be perfect. So I'm just going to put that corner into my snips, and I am just going to cut. And then I'm just going to erase any pencil marks that were left behind. So this gives us our bird shape. You have the head, the belly, and chest, and you have what's going to form down here where the tail is. This is a lot easier than the old way that we did it, where we had cut a rectangle and angled it, and another rectangle over here, and we had 1/2 square triangles. This is your basic bird shape body. If you want your bird chunkier, take off some of the top and make him squattier. Or you could not take off as much down here on the belly and make the belly fuller, depending. But that is a really good bird shape. And you could make one of these and keep it as a template if you're going to do any more birds. Okay, so we want to make this as easy as possible. Hey, Marilyn! Doris Ann Designs. Thank you so much, Doris. Like I said, Doris has done American robins, the nuthatches. She has done a lot of birds. So here we have our body. And if you were to put this back down on the grid paper, you would see that this is where we cut off, and this was where we cut off when we drew our tick marks, okay? So now we have the body. And then I had you cut some, these are 1/2 inch squares. The beak and the mask for the cardinal, these are 3/8 of an inch squares. These are small enough. You don't have to put these in your trimmer. Just put, you're going to cut on an angle, on a diagonal. Just put them in your snips. Whoops. And give them a cut. So cut your mask, cut your beak on the diagonal, put them in your snips, and just cut them in half on the diagonal. Now you're going to need the real red 1/2 inch square. You're going to do the same. One of these is going to be the cardinal's crown. And then, or not the crown, that's going to be the extension of the tail here. The real red's going to be the extension of the cardinal's tail. You're going to cut one of the cherry cobbler on the diagonal, and the cherry cobbler is going to be the cardinal's crown. Okay, so you've got your pieces cut. These two Cherry Cobbler squares are going to give the illusion of his wing. Okay, so that creates, because it's a deeper color, it's going to give you the illusion of the wing. The crown is darker so that those parts of your cardinal really stand out. Okay, so we've got all our pieces. So let's bring in that scrap piece of grid paper, and just make sure you leave yourself enough room to cut it off. So I'm just gonna find where my my lines are straight, just to line it up, and we're gonna glue the cardinal down. And you might want your cardinal going this way. I mean, all you have to do is flip the body over. It, however you want your cardinal facing, you can change that up. So I'm just going to use the lines on my grid paper to help me stay straight, because I am going to be adding some half square triangles. So this just helps me line everything up. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's put that tail extension, which is one of the half square triangles from the Real Red. And you just want to line up one of the shorter sides down here to where this lower right hand corner, you're just going to put the half square triangle like this so that it forms the tail. And then, yes, these are tiny pieces. Sometimes you just can't get away from working small. I know some people use little tweezers to help them. Tweezers and I don't really get along. I'm more thumbs with tweezers than I am just fumbling with my own fingers. So when you glue it down, make sure it butts right up against the tail end of the bird's body. What we want to achieve here is seeing as few seams as we can to make it just kind of look like it's overall one big piece. So just push that into place and make sure it butts up really nice. Now, let's go ahead and let's take one of the half square triangles that was the Cherry Cobbler, and let's put the crown on. Now the crown, this 90-degree angle, is this 90 or 40? 90 degree. This 90-degree angle here is going to be on my right hand side. And that's going to sit right up at the top like that. Okay, so once you've got it in place and you like it, because you're cutting, you know, we were just using snips, so it's real easy to get off a little bit. You just want to make sure your lines flow really nice. So let's glue that down. Again, we're going to push it right up against the Real Red. Okay, so now we have the crown done. Now let's put in our wings. So these are the 2 half-inch squares of Cherry Cobbler. And what I'm going to do is I want to set these squares to where they fit right inside the body. So right about there, and then this other one will go right next to it. But let's put this one down first. I'm getting low on my glue here. So I am just going to put that down here at the bottom. And I want it to sit inside. Sometimes that little corner might overhang a little bit. That is not a big deal. But you can also see that this is a 1/2 inch square and this is a 1/2 inch here on the grid paper. So put that down like that. Okay. So we just kind of fit it right there. And now this one is going to go right above it, and just imagine it kind of going on a diagonal, and glue that into place. Wow, I thought this bottle of glue was newer than that, but I must have been going through a lot. I made swap cards for on stage, and I went through, well, this would be my 3rd bottle of the liquid glue putting my cards together. So here is the other part of the Cardinal's wing. Okay. Now, if you wanted its wings to go out, did everybody see the quilt that I shared this morning in the group Quilt Cards and More? It showed its wing coming out. And look at Doris's, where's Doris's nuthatch? Doris has the nuthatch's wings up. So you can use 1/2 square triangles to create the wings going up. Look back in the files over in the group Quilt Cards and More. You're going to have to scroll all the way, almost all the way down to the bottom, and it's called the applique bird. And that is this sheet right here that I did back in 2021 for the first Cardinal easel card. And here there's an option box, and it will show you what you need if you want to create the wings that are going up. If you want a more rounded bird, it gives you some ideas how to shrink the bird down and make it a little chunkier. But these are some options. You can give it a longer tail. So look for that file, and you'll get some options for wings. Okay? Let's get back to our project. Okay, now we're going to put the mask and the beak on our Cardinal. So you're going to need 1/2 of your 1/2 square triangles of the basic black. This is going to go right up here. So you're going to start at the top of the head, and you're going to lay it to where that long straight side is facing to the left. And that's going to be the mask of your Cardinal, so you can go ahead and glue that down. A glue dot might work. I'm just a big fan of the liquid glue or the green glue. I'm just going to push that into place and hold it. And then there's the mask to our Cardinal. If you wanted to make this a female Cardinal, then go with soft suede, or go with crumb cake and then soft suede as the wings to get that two-tone, because the female Cardinal is a brown and not the red. The mask is the same and the beak color is the same, but the body color is different. So if you want to make a female Cardinal, you just need to change the color of her body. And then the beak is just going to line up with that straight edge of the basic black. Okay? And then you can glue that down. And everyone, you just have made a Cardinal for your cards. And just having the body template gives you so many options. I got something on that one right there. I'm not going to use that one. I don't know what I got on it, but I'm going to throw that one away. That one template for the body will give you so many options for other birds. Just Google what those birds look like, pick your colors, and you may have to change the shape of the beak a little bit. There's a lot of birds that have tiny little beaks, but you are on your way to creating a lot of birds for your cards. And so there is our paper pieced cardinal. So now what we're going to do is you're going to cut this cardinal away from the grid paper. And if you want to get underneath and just angle your scissors a little bit, and that'll give you an undercut. That way you know you're getting that grid paper off of there. You just got to get a feel for it. What I love about the snips is these snips get right into little tight corners. Might want to take a little bit of that off. Oh, we'll just not worry about it, Julie. And then just follow around the outside of your design. And you might cut off some of your cardstock in order to keep that line straight. That's okay. And then I'm going to cut this part off. Come in and get this chest here. And so you're just trimming off your cardinal. And this would, by trimming it off and not creating the background with a lot of other half square triangles and rectangles and stuff, this sits up on your cardstock and it gives me the feel of applique. So I just always think of these as little applique projects. And I've got some white showing here that I really want to get off. But I've got another one ready to go. It's just me being very fussy. So there you have your cardinal. And what I like to do once the cardinal is cut off of the grid paper is I like to give it some texture. So what I like to do is use a subtle embossing folder or just any embossing folder that gives just a little bit of texture. And when you run these through the rollers of your machine, it helps just put everything into place. It even helps make your seam lines less noticeable. So here's our cardinal cut off, and it's got texture. So we're just going to set him aside for a little while, okay? We're going to get into the card now, the easel card. So I'm going to clear some stuff out of the way, bring in my components. We're going to do a little bit of cutting together, okay? So here's the card base, which is 4 1/4 by 11. We're going to together we're going to score it at 5 1/2 and then 2 3/4. A piece of designer series paper that's 4 by 8. That will give us the piece that we need for the bottom here. It'll also give us the piece for the inside layer, and then a real tiny little thin strip that you could even put somewhere in your card, okay? This piece here is designer series paper for the back of my card. I love to put backs on my quilt cards. You know, just sticking with the whole quilt thing. And then this is stamped using the Framed and Festive stamp set. This is while supplies last right now. So that is this one here. And these stamp sentiments, they are so crisp when you stamp with them. Love, love, love. And you can never have too many Christmas sentiments. And then I used Merry Christmas down there. That's for the inside. And these two pieces are the same size. I wanted red hearts to show through my pool party here. So they're the same size. So I will just glue this pool party onto the real red. And that is this die from the Fitting Florets bundle. And I wanted to show you, I know there's a lot of you who love to make shaker cards, and I'm going to try and bring this over. Look at all of these little hearts that will make great shaker cards. So don't throw them away when you use that die, okay? Those are just extra pieces so I can make some more of these cards. But that's what's left behind when you use that die. This oval here that's going to fit right in there, that is the center of this, I call this the more ornate die frame out of the set. So that when you cut this out, you will cut this middle out too. And that's what's going to lay right there in the center of the oval. So we have all of our pieces. So let's go ahead, and before we start putting everything together, let's bring in the trimmer and let's do some scoring together. So we're going to score at 5.5. And then at 2 3/4. So we're taking, it was 11-inch long piece. So when we scored it in half at 5.5, we're just going another half. So half of 5.5 is 2 3/4. And this is going to create the easel. Okay. So when you fold and crease, this forms the easel. Okay. Wow. I guess it's time to go back up maybe now with the, and not get so close. So here's, excuse my arm being in the way. So this creates your easel here. Okay. So sorry about that. Now we're going to cut this piece that is 4 by 8. We're going to cut this down to 5 1/4. Okay, so your first cut is at 5 1/4. Whoops, something doesn't feel right here. And that is going to be this inside layer that your sentiment's going to sit on. Okay. And then we're going to move this over to 2 1/2. And you're going to be left with this little piece that I'm sure you will find some place to use in your card. But this is going to get glued to this 2 3/4-inch panel that's at the end of our card. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces, and we can start now. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to put my back on first. Now we're going to just put this card together. So this is the back. Just putting it on here, trying to get a nice even border. And while I'm working with the back, I've got my button. Just gonna put a little signature button right there on the back. Flip it over and let's put this this piece here, right there. I think I'm gonna have to open another glue. So just eyeball it. Make sure it looks nice and even there. Oops, this needs to come down just a little bit. Okay, so there's that. And then let's go ahead and put our inside layer here. Whoops, I'm probably getting out of focus here. I do not like to fight with glue, so I might be opening. And this is directional, so I kind of want my stripes to be going the same direction. And then my sentiment is going to go right on top of that. This is a piece that I had to flip over because I didn't like that my Merry Christmas was going uphill. So we're just going to put that right about there. Okay, and then that leaves, I'm going to do some creasing here, and please forgive me, this is not, I know this bone folder is not Stampin' Up. My bone folder is packed away and all the supplies I'm taking with me to on stage. So forgive me that it is not Stamping Up, but it works. So here's our easel. And then we're going to glue these two pieces together. And of course, your cutting, if you don't have this die set, then your cutting is going to be a little different because you really don't need two pieces because you're not trying to make anything show through. So let's just put these together. So you will have to do some modifying if you're using something different, and that is okay. This set is fairly new, so some may not have it yet. So there is this piece, and this is going to go here. Now what we want to do is you don't want to glue this. Oops, I got a little bit of glue out there. You don't want the top of this piece here going beyond your fold because it's got to fit in the envelope. I want it to go up somewhat high though. So I'm going to look at this. And I've got a little bit of the Designer Series paper peeking out on both sides. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue. Oh boy, that's a little wonky. That's going to get glued down, so I'm not going to worry about it. But the bottom, I'm going to put some glue along the bottom here. And then I'm going to put some glue on the designer series paper up here. And then when I put this down, kind of want to like leave a nice border up there. This is going to stick. You don't want glue going beyond this score line here. So if you put glue on the bottom and put glue somewhat near the top of your score line, you'll be okay. So now the easel is coming together. And now what we can do is we can glue our oval down. And now comes putting our cardinal on. So let's bring back in our cardinal. And what I also have to work with are these die cut shapes. Got the cardinal tucked behind the birds. This little flower in the leaf becomes your stopper so that your easel stands up like an easel. I've got a ribbon, a bow for up here in the corner. Because I like options, I thought, oh, what about this other stamp that is in that bundle? I didn't know if I wanted to try it and have something that goes across more like that, and then use the bigger flower for my stopper. And I die cut a couple of leaves that I thought could go on either side. So these are just to give you options if you're looking to step up your card. Is this in view? You could put your leaves down and then put the bigger flower, and that would make a pretty stopper down here for your card, and use those flowers. So you've got plenty of options with this layout, but we're going to do the original card. So I just have to figure out, I think I'm going to keep my cardinal to where his tail comes out of the oval just a little bit. And let's lay our components down so we can see where we want to place things. So I'm kind of liking that. So I'm going to glue the cardinal down. Come on. Well, I'm not fighting that. I'm not fighting that. Let's just get another bottle. Woo! That one's coming out really nice. However, I don't want glue seeping out all over, so I'm just going to try and share the love there with the glue. Okay. So I wanted the tail coming off the card, or outside of the oval a little bit. Make sure he doesn't look too wonky. put the cardinal down, and then I'm going to pop up the flowers with dimensionals. And sit those right underneath them. So he looks like he's sitting behind the flowers. And now I got to attach the stopper. And so I want my, you just figure out how tall you want your easel to stand. And then I'm just going to place the stopper right about, oh, it's not straight. Hold on. I need to center it a little bit better. There we go. And then that stops your card from sliding down. Okay. All that's left is we've got to give our cardinal an eye. We need to put our ribbon on. So I'm going to put my ribbon on with some glue dots. Oh, brand new roll. And it explains why it was stuck in there. So I'm just going to put some glue dots on the back of my knot. And I'm going to put 2 just to reinforce it. And I'm going to put the bow up here in the upper right-hand corner and make sure it stays within the boundaries of the card, so when you put it in the envelope, it's not sticking out too much. So there's our bow. Now for the cardinal's eye, what I'm going to use, I'm going to use a little one of these small black dots. This isn't the black matte dots, but they're really, really close. You could even color a pearl with your black blends, Stampin' Up! Blends, and change the color. So now the eye I am going to put to where it's, you can see some of it outside of the, whoops, outside of the mask. Oh, this is going to be fun holding on to something this tiny. Right about. Ah. Kind of like that. Okay, can you see the eye? So there's the eye. And then the other thing that I did was I just took, I liked these wonderful gems. I thought this looked a little like Blushing Bride. And what I did was I put a couple down here. And then I put another one up here near the cardinal. Just to bring your eye up and give this up here just a little bit of bling. And there is your project for today. Let's get it back down in camera here. So there's your cardinal. For those of you that had been asking about this pattern, there you go. Hi, Jean. Jean and Tony are already in Indianapolis. Hi, Paula, Lori, Karen, welcome. Where are you watching from? Doris, thank you for answering Pat's question. Yes, the stamp set and the dies from Fitting Florets is carrying over and will be in the January to June mini catalog. However, the designer series paper, the gold gems, the gold swirl gems, and the Christmas sentiment stamp set are while supplies last. So keep that in mind, that those three things aren't carrying over. But the dies and the stamp set will be in the new mini catalog. Thank you, Doris, so much for answering the questions. Hi, Susan. You saw a cardinal at your feeder. Yay! It's a rare sighting. Oh my goodness. So talk about rare sightings. Andrea, who's watching from the UK, what I love about when we have our birding festival here in May along the shore of Lake Erie, we love it when people from outside our country come over because they've never seen a cardinal before. It's not a species that they have overseas. And in fact, our northern cardinals are not seen, you know, west of the Mississippi River. I mean, maybe a little bit west, but you don't see them on the west coast or anywhere in the west. So when, you know, people get excited about a cardinal, I get it. They're beautiful. We're fortunate that we get to see them year round. So the excitement that you see from people not from the area of the United States where the northern cardinal can be found, it's their enthusiasm is so much fun, and really gets us rejuvenated and appreciating the northern cardinal, because it's something we see a lot. Sometimes, you know, they lose their thrill, but I'll tell you, someone who's never seen one before can really re-energize your enthusiasm for the common birds that we see all the time here. So that is it for the project. What I am going to do when I sign off, I have a PDF ready. So I will load the PDF under the Files tab that's in the Quilt Cards and More group. And I don't know if anybody noticed, I happened to notice it this morning, we are sitting at 699 members of Quilt Cards and More. One more member will put us at 700. So that's exciting that there's that many crafters out there who love and appreciate quilts, moving quilting over into paper crafts and making quilt cards. So that is just phenomenal to me. It's amazing. So with that, I am going to sign off here, pack up what craft supplies I was using and I need to add to my bag to take to Indianapolis. I will be getting on the road, but before I do that, I'm going to load that PDF. Thank you, Pat. Safe travels. Anymore, I don't know what it is, but driving alone, the further I get, the further the distance is, it makes me a little nervously excited. So thank you for that. Oh, I want to tell you guys, I had my martini for my 60th birthday. I had a dirty martini, and I think it's an acquired taste. It wasn't that it was bad. It was good. But as the glass lost its chill and the alcohol lost its chill, I left some behind because I just couldn't drink it. I definitely will try the more fruity martinis, but that will be my one and only dirty martini. It would, like I said, it was good. It's not that it was bad, but I'm going to try some other ones. So if you're wondering how my martini went for my birthday, that is my review. So anyway, next week I'll show some more birthday cards that I got in the mail. Yes, Jane, I have been told by so many people to try a lemon drop martini. I have heard that from so many people. So that is on my list. Okay, everybody have a blessed day. Have a really good weekend. I will try to share some pictures and stuff from Indianapolis at Onstage and keep you updated on that. So when I get back from the weekend, I've got all my supplies for November's card kit block of the month, the barn quilt. So I will be busy cutting paper, putting kits together, addressing envelopes, and getting those ready for the mail on the 15th. So, yes, Marilyn, I can't wait to see you too. It's going to be so much fun. Probably a lot of selfies will be taken in Indianapolis. So everyone, again, have a blessed day. Thank you for spending your morning with me. I can't wait to see what your Cardinal cards look like. Make sure that you post pictures of them over in the group. And let's see if we can get one more person to make it 700. So everybody, again, have a blessed day. I love hanging out with everyone here.